If you have ever wondered why young South Koreans treat investing like a national sport, let me just say this. It is not a hobby. It is survival. For a lot of people in their 20s and 30s, the idea of just work hard and save money feels completely impossible. The job market is cutthroat, the cost of living is sky high, and the competition never stops. So instead of waiting decades to get ahead, they jump straight into the world of investing because it feels like the only real shot at building a future. Every day I see stories of young Koreans pouring whatever they can into stocks, crypto, index funds, anything with potential upside, because sitting still means falling behind. It is intense, it is fast, and honestly, it is a little brutal. But once you understand what they are up against, it makes perfect sense why investing became the norm instead of the exception. When you look at why young South Koreans obsess over investing, the first thing you have to understand is the job market. It is not just competitive, it is a full-on battlefield. Growing up, most Koreans are told that getting into a top university and landing a stable job at a big corporation is the golden ticket. But here is the reality. There are not enough of those golden ticket jobs to go around, and the competition is beyond anything most people in the West are used to. We are talking thousands of applicants for a single position, endless test prep, interviews that feel like interrogations, and a culture where your entire early life is shaped around getting ahead academically. So what happens when you follow the rules, work hard, graduate, and still end up stuck? When you send out hundreds of applications and barely get a callback? When even entry-level jobs expect superhuman experience? For many young Koreans, that frustration hit hard. They started realizing that relying on a salary alone might never get them the stability their parents had. Their parents grew up in a Korea that was booming, where hard work practically guaranteed that you would rise with the economy. But that era is gone. Instead, young adults today walk into a world where wages have not kept up with living costs, and job security is basically a luxury. This pressure pushed young people to look for alternative ways to build wealth, and investing quickly became the obvious choice. It is something you can do without a resume, without connections, without waiting for a company to decide your fate. If the job market won't give them growth, they take matters into their own hands. Even if they are earning modest salaries, they still put whatever they can into the market, sometimes aggressively, because they know the old model of save money slowly does not work anymore. There is also a cultural layer to this. South Korea has always valued progress, determination, and staying ahead. When the job market blocks that path, investing becomes the new arena where people can compete and improve themselves. It gives a sense of control in a system that often feels stacked against them. And honestly, when you live in a society where everyone around you is hustling, trying, studying, and fighting for opportunities, you naturally start looking for any edge you can get. Investing becomes that edge. So when you hear that young Koreans are diving into stocks, crypto, ETFs, and even foreign markets, it is not because they are bored or reckless. It is because they are realistic. They are looking at their future, looking at the job landscape and saying, if I don't invest now, I might never catch up. That mentality, built from pressure, competition, and a rapidly changing economy, is a huge reason why investing has become almost a necessity for the younger generation. If you want to understand the explosion of investing among young South Koreans, you cannot ignore the role of mobile trading apps. They did not just make investing easier, they completely transformed it. Before these apps took over, investing felt like something only older, wealthier people did. You had to talk to a broker, visit a bank, or use clunky computer software that felt like it was built in the early 2000s. But once sleek, easy-to-use mobile platforms started popping up, everything changed fast. Young Koreans are already some of the most tech-savvy people in the world. They live on their phones, pay with their phones, study on their phones, and even date from their phones. So when the ability to buy and sell stocks, crypto, and ETFs became available in the same place they order food and hail taxis, investing instantly felt accessible. You did not need a lot of money to start. You did not need a fancy financial background. You did not need anyone's permission. You could open an account, deposit a few dollars, and start investing immediately. But it goes deeper than convenience. These apps gamified the entire experience. Real-time price updates, Push notifications, colorful charts, social feeds, community discussions, everything was designed to trigger engagement. For young people who grew up online, this felt natural. It made investing feel exciting, almost like playing a strategy game where your decisions have real-world consequences. Apps even added features like fractional shares, meaning you could buy a tiny slice of Tesla or Samsung without needing thousands of dollars. That pulled in students, part-timers, and new graduates who wanted to start small. There is also the emotional side. When you see your friends posting screenshots of their gains or talking about the latest stock trend inside a group chat, you feel like you should be part of it too. Mobile apps accelerated this social momentum. People were more connected, more informed, and more influenced by market trends than ever before. And because everything happens instantly, one tap to buy, one tap to sell, the pace of investing in South Korea shot through the roof. On top of that, the apps were designed with education in mind. Many of them offered tutorials, market summaries, and quick breakdowns of financial terms. For young Koreans who wanted to learn but did not want to wade through complicated textbooks, this was perfect. It removed the intimidation factor that investing used to have. All of this created a culture where investing is not just accessible, it is normal. It is a daily habit like checking messages or scrolling social media. And once that kind of convenience takes hold, it is almost impossible to go back. This mobile revolution is one of the biggest reasons why investing is woven so deeply into the mindset of young South Koreans today. If you want to understand why young South Koreans feel pushed into investing, all you have to do is look at the real estate market. Buying a home in cities like Seoul is almost like trying to win a lottery. The prices are so high that even people with good jobs feel like they are chasing something they can never catch. A small apartment can cost more than what most young adults might earn in decades of work. And because of this, real estate has shifted from being a life milestone to something that feels completely out of reach. Older generations were able to ride South Korea's real estate boom, watching property values climb year after year. For them, buying a home early was the easiest path to wealth. But for the younger generation, that door is practically shut. They are entering adulthood in a world where down payments are enormous, mortgage rules are strict, and salaries just cannot keep up with the rise in housing costs. When you realize you might need 10 years or more just to save enough for a deposit, you start to wonder if there is a smarter way to grow your money. This is exactly what pushed young Koreans toward the stock market and crypto. They know that if they rely purely on saving from their paycheck, they might never afford a home. Investing, even with its risks, feels like their only shot at growing money at a pace that matches the housing market. They look at real estate prices that climb faster than their income and think, if I don't invest, I'll fall behind forever. That feeling drives a lot of their decisions. There is also a sense of urgency. Every year that passes without buying property makes the dream even further away. When you live in a society where owning a home is strongly linked to stability, adulthood, and even marriage, the pressure hits hard. Young Koreans see investing as a way to fight back against a system they cannot control. They might not have enough money to buy a house, but they can still buy stocks, ETFs, or crypto, and hope those grow into something meaningful. So when you hear young Koreans talk about investing aggressively, it is not greed. It is frustration mixed with practicality. They are trying to build wealth any way they can in a world where traditional paths are locked behind impossible real estate prices. Investing becomes the tool that gives them at least a chance to catch up, even if the odds feel stacked against them. If there is one thing that shapes the mindset of young South Koreans from childhood, it is school pressure. The education system is intense. Students spend long days in regular classes and then go straight to cram schools afterward. The message they hear from parents, teachers, and society is always the same. Work hard now so you can succeed later. Success usually means getting into a top university, landing a respected job, and securing financial stability. But here is the catch. Even after surviving all that academic pressure, the promised stability is not guaranteed anymore. This creates a generation that grows up constantly striving for improvement, always working, always aiming higher. When they become adults and face financial uncertainty, this competitive mindset naturally shifts toward money. Investing becomes another subject to master, another challenge to overcome. Young Koreans are used to studying, so they do the same with investing. They research companies, follow financial news, analyze charts, and talk about strategies the way previous generations talked about grades. There is also a deeper cultural influence. In South Korea, achievement is highly valued. People want to show progress, whether it is in their career, skills, or finances. When traditional pathways like stable jobs or affordable housing seem blocked, investing becomes the next logical arena to prove yourself. It is a place where effort might still translate into results. Even small profits feel like victories, and those wins motivate people to learn more and try harder. On top of that, many Koreans grow up hearing their parents talk about money constantly. There is an expectation to be financially responsible from a young age. They are encouraged to save, avoid debt, and think about the future early. So when adulthood hits and reality feels tougher than expected, investing becomes a way to stay aligned with the money goals they were raised with. It lets them feel proactive instead of helpless. The combination of academic pressure, cultural expectations, and financial uncertainty creates a perfect storm. Young Koreans do not just invest to get rich. They invest because it fits the mindset they were trained to have. Work hard, learn fast, and stay ahead. Investing gives them a sense of direction and control in a world that feels unpredictable. And for a generation shaped by pressure, discipline, and ambition, the stock market becomes the new classroom where they chase their next achievement. One of the biggest reasons young South Koreans became so obsessed with investing is the rise of online communities. These spaces turned investing from a lonely, confusing activity into something social, exciting, and fast-moving. Platforms like forums, group chats, and social media pages created a constant stream of tips, debates, success stories, and even warnings. For a generation raised on the internet, joining these communities felt natural, almost like joining a study group for money. What makes these communities powerful is how quickly information spreads. Someone finds a promising stock, posts a chart, shares news, or explains a strategy, and within minutes, thousands of people are talking about it. It creates a sense of being part of something bigger. Young Koreans can learn from each other, share their wins and losses, and challenge the traditional idea that investing is only for experts. When you see people just like you making moves, it makes investing feel achievable. There is also a motivational side to it. Many communities celebrate progress, no matter how small. People share screenshots of their first profit or talk about how they saved money to buy their first stock. These posts push others to take action too. It becomes a cycle of encouragement, learning, and shared ambition. Even when markets crash, these communities often act as support networks, helping people stay calm and focused. Another factor is transparency. Young investors do not trust vague financial advice from banks or institutions. They prefer real conversations with real people. Online communities give them honest experiences, practical tips, and raw discussions that feel more authentic than any official brochure. In the end, these communities made investing feel like a lifestyle. They gave young Koreans a place to learn, connect, and stay motivated, turning investing into something that feels both personal and communal. At the end of the day, the story of young South Koreans and investing is really a story about a generation trying to take control of their future. When jobs are unpredictable, housing feels impossible, and the pressure never stops, investing becomes more than just a financial move. It becomes a way to push back, to stay hopeful, and to build something for themselves. I think that is what makes their mindset so powerful. They are not waiting around for the system to change. They are adapting, learning, and taking action in the only way they can. And honestly, there is something inspiring about that. If there is one lesson to take away from all of this, it is that sometimes you have to create your own path to financial freedom, even when the world around you makes it tough. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next one.